Welcome into Inside LAFC podcast. I am Max Bretos. Katia Castorena alongside me, joining you from better temperature here in Alhambra. We are under the tarps here at the LAFC Performance Center. Disappointing result for the weekend, we certainly know.
We have to talk about the Messi mania in LA, the star-studded list at BMO Stadium. Like you mentioned, disappointing result, but many takeaways. At the end of the day, it's these moments that help you learn as a team, help you grow, and then just push for that final stretch of the regular season.
If you were at the Super Bowl or the World Cup final and someone handed you that guest list that had LAFC at BMO Stadium, you go, oh, well, that's pretty good. Maybe get a couple more names on there, but that's pretty good. That'll do just fine. So we'll talk about what was an unforgettable Sunday day, except for the result on the field, but a lot to take away from that. John McCarthy will join us to discuss further about Sunday. We'll preview Portland, and we'll get to the bottom of that jersey swap.
Yes. How John McCarthy got Messi's jersey. You want to hear that story.
We have a lot. Great show coming your way. Let's pick up the spirits. Get ready for Portland. Inside LAFC podcast starts right now. Welcome into Inside LAFC podcast with Katia Castorena. I am Max Bretos, and Katia, we have a lot to discuss, but I want to show everyone I got the new Pac Sun collection shirt. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it's got the very nice back. These sold out really quick, I think. But what do you think?
It's a really nice design. I like it. Very Southern California,
Very
LA
Southern
vibes. Looking good.
Thank you.
You feeling
I feel
hip
good.
and cool?
I feel like I'm acting younger than I am because I know it's a younger brand. A little over the hill, but I feel cool. Everyone there inside the dining area of the Performance Center were like, "Where'd you get that?" I go, "So you can get it. Go to LAFC.com to find out about the Pac Sun collection." How was your Sunday?
I mean, my Sunday was fun because I was at BMO Stadium. I went to the Fan Fest before.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on, activities, food. It was packed. Everybody selling non-official merchandise outside too. But it's a great atmosphere. I was surprised. I mean, I get it because of the game that it was, because Messi was in town. The extra security, all of the layers
100%.
that were around the stadium, the fences, that caught me by surprise when I first got to the stadium.
I was walking around, and look, it was an incredible feast for the eyes if you were participating. I know we're at LAFC. We're used to these big games. We've had a lot of them, and just in the last 12 months, MLS Cup, CCL Final, and now this. These are three top 10, big momentous games in MLS history. I mean, we'll be a little generous with that, maybe top 15, but they're all up there. MLS Cup without a question. This one too, just because of the guest list, it was insane. And I remember I was walking around suites in the fourth floor, not too far from the Sunset Deck, and I think that was the David Beckham suite, and I saw Prince William, and I got
Prince Harry,
sorry. My apologies to the monarchy. I saw Prince Harry, and I took two steps closer, and all of a sudden this giant man, 6'4", it was just huge, hands like toilet seats. They're huge. I was like, okay, and I did a quick pivot. Didn't have to say anything. I was like, wow.
Like tight end hands.
Tight end hands. Kawhi Leonard hands. You always say he's got these big hands, but they were just huge claws. And I was like, whoop, and moved along. But it was very well securityed across the board.
And that list went viral when it was shared on social media, and I can see why. It's the LA Effect star-studded event at BMO Stadium.
What name popped off that list when you saw it?
I mean, I knew beforehand some of the guests. Well, you started hearing the buzz, but then when you actually see it on the list, Prince Harry was one of them. Leo DiCaprio, that was going to be there. Selena Gomez, I was surprised that she was going to be there. I didn't know that she was a soccer fan, but she was really invested in the game. We're going to talk about her reaction to that save that John McCarthy had and that 1v1 with the Messi during that first half. I don't know. It was just so many people.
You didn't pick one.
I forgot. I wanted to bring the list. I saved it.
Yes.
I was going to bring it. Yeah, I was going to bring it for this episode. I'm sorry, I forgot because it's a big list.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's a big list, and that's a small stadium, right? 22,000 seats, and it was an LA event. And, that thing with Selena Gomez, you had Cholo Maradueña, who's in a lot of games next door, and then you had Tyga below, and they were all so excited. So, and by the way, we're not pushing down the result down down the road here. We're going to discuss it because it's important. It's an important time of season. It was a disappointment. There's no question about it, but we'll get to that in a moment. To me, there was also one on the list, Rufus Du Sol. I did not see them. It's a band I love, but they were in the building. They played at BMO Stadium in the past. That would have been very cool. But it was from all walks of life. That's like the perks of playing in Los Angeles. It's the perks of living in Los Angeles. And I know a lot of you weren't able to get to the game, and there will be opportunities for big games there, but you get to see this on the Apple TV service, which is great. The Messi experience has exceeded anything I could thought was possible. You just look at it. Look, there's no question it's oversaturated. When you go to the MLS website or you go to Apple TV, it's Messi, 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 and I understand it. But the reaction with that, the traffic it causes on every social media handle, on every news source, the public going crazy. I would never expected it to be that big. It is huge, and it's good for the league in the big picture. Well, one day Messi will leave, and then the league has to figure it out. Right now, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Is it a little bit hard to stomach all the time? I got to say yes, because it's crazy. Have you been surprised how big the reaction is? I mean, I'm just like, my mouth. When he was in the corner and he waved at one side, and they all go, hi! And he flipped to the other side, and everyone goes, hi! I was like, the power this man possesses.
I really enjoy that moment that you're describing right now because the game stopped. I think someone was injured in that moment. So Messi was waiting to take that corner kick. And of course, the crowd is going crazy. And the fact that he took that moment to wave at the fans, to acknowledge that they were just like going crazy, screaming his name, that everybody went out there to see him, and just the support that they've received at every single city that they've been to so far. It was just very special because you can see also how he's enjoying it. We've been talking about how Messi seems happy here.
He does.
During this time in MLS, the reason he chose MLS as his next destination. And I think like moments like that where he can really take it in, say hi to the fans that are there, and it just shows why he's enjoying it, why he's having this success so fast. And it was a very special just exchange that he had there with the supporters that I thought was really nice.
He is happy. And look, he has cast a spell on everyone in this country. Players, broadcasters, everyone, because sometimes you don't want to. Look, trust me, I'm stubborn on this. I go, I don't want to worship Messi for a lot. I get on my timeline, I'm Messi, enough. I try not to post too much Messi, a little bit. But I try not to get caught in, but you just get pulled in because A, you don't want to miss this opportunity, but B, it's very powerful, and it's incredible because I mentioned LAFC should have been up in that game, a couple goals. They came out firing on all cylinders, just the way you want to see them. They were punishing Miami on the transition. They obviously couldn't put the ball away. The one viral video with Denny Bouanga and Carlos Vela, I'm sure you all saw it, but there were those opportunities here. But regardless of how good it started or how badly it might have ended, the similar thing with all these MLS clubs against Messi is they get put under this spell in a bit because Miami's not outplaying Inter Miami, or they didn't outplay Nashville or outplay Dallas or many of these games, or Cincinnati in the Open Cup. But they get the results, and I gotta put that in the category of a little magic, a little Messi magic. And because I was going, this is going to end here. LAC is going to win. It's not sustainable, but maybe it is. It's a very powerful feeling that I've never really experienced in sports, and it's getting Inter Miami a lot of results, and now they're one step closer to the playoffs, 3 points closer to the playoffs.
It's because, it starts, of course, with the coaching staff, the decision to bring Tata in, someone that knows Messi, that knows the guys that were brought into the team. The style of play that they know, trying to control the pace, having the ball, and they've been able to find that also with the guys that were already there and kind of convince them of that idea. The leadership, of course, the talent, we all know that first-class touch that we see from these players. But Busquets was talking about it after the game, what they've been trying to do, and I feel like that's why they've found success so fast. What we've seen in these games, it's because trying to first get everybody on that same mindset, that winning mindset that they all have from Europe. It's like winning at all costs, and then a calmness into the game of the way they play, just like the way they read the game. And that's been, I feel like, the key, and we keep seeing it over and over again, even against different opponents.
That's a good point about winning at all costs, because that's one of the comparisons that Europe makes to MLS, where people say, and we've heard it from Giorgio Chiellini, it's like if you lose a game, that week's going to stink. And it stinks for MLS clubs, but it's a forgiving league. We certainly know that. But I think that's a really great point to emphasize, because you've got to, not only on the club level in the United States and Canada, but on the international level, you've got to get that feeling where it's win or nothing. Your only option's to win. I will put my body on the line to win this game today. And that's something that this league is still learning. And maybe through this scope they'll see it, because all these games, I think you nailed it. It's something that Inter Miami has been able to prioritize. They go, we're going to win these games. And every game has felt important. Maybe it's because they've had to dig themselves out of a hole. The Leagues Cup was a freestanding tournament. They knew they had to win all those games. The Open Cup semifinals. That urgency, which you'd like to see in every MLS game.
They've been tested in different ways, and they've responded, like you said, like being down at halftime, having to come back, winning on PKs, or maybe getting ahead and protecting that lead, like different things that we've seen from the team. And like you mentioned, LAFC had the opportunities. They knew they wanted to hit first, and it's a game, and the players talked about it afterwards, that it came down to who was going to hurt the other team first. And it ended up being Inter Miami. It was a weird first goal, but at the end of the day, LAFC had those chances at the beginning of the game. They didn't put them away. They couldn't find the net. And on the other side, one transition, in a weird way, they find the goal first, and
it's a weird sport.
It's a weird sport sometimes, and it just gives them that confidence and that ability to manage the game and manage the minutes differently in those 15 minutes of the game.
When I did my keys to the match, I mentioned transition. I mentioned don't get caught up in the moment. This game, it's impossible not to. In hindsight, it's impossible. It just you felt like you're out of your body being at that game. It was a regular season MLS game, and it felt like a Super Bowl, mainly because of who was in the stands and just the attention it was receiving. High intensity. And
playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, everything was at pace. It was like, whoa, what's going on? But that's what Messi creates. He brings out this in other teams. But what you said was, I agree with it 100% too, that I've lost my train of thought here, but what he, let me see if I can bring it back. I'll forget it. But I will say that I'll come back to it. But there's these little factors that you can take away from this game that certainly apply to how you approach this game, this league. And I know that everyone would like another shot. You get one shot at this, and they were able to overcome it. But it's not as disappointing as the result. This is what I was going to say. It all came back to me, Ken. I said in my keys to the match,
it's all coming back.
It's all coming back.
Me. It's all coming.
Don't sing that song. I was at a hotel and someone was singing it above me, and they kept singing it, and I had to call and say, "Could you tell them to stop?" But it was repetitive. I said, transition, don't get caught in the spotlight, and the third one was score first. And they go, well, that's real easy. I go, I know. Usually, if you score first, you win. But I was convinced whoever scored first in this game was going to win. It was clear as day, because LAFC would score first. They'll be able to keep that momentum. If Inter Miami score first, again, the run of play, that would be a very difficult thing to overcome for LAFC.
And we've seen it. It's something LAFC has struggled with this season, especially when they see themselves down and trying to come back. Last year, they were always finding a way to come back, especially during the second half, even if they went behind a goal early on. And now it's been a little bit of a struggle. And I don't know if it has to do with certain distractions in that moment when now your head is in a different place. It's not fully in the game because you're thinking, oh, now I have to once again try to find a goal and go against all these odds after all we've been hearing, all these noise. And I know the players were trying to not pay attention, cancel all the noise, but it's hard.
Yeah. And like I said, it could have been up 2 or 3 by the time Miami scored. But water under the bridge, we move forward. It was a great experience. LAFC will be better off because of it, as they show why they are the top dogs here in MLS, along with Inter Miami, who got the result. And we'll talk to John McCarthy about the jersey. You stick around for that. It's a really interesting answer about, in the moment, finding an opportunity to have a jersey exchange with Lionel Messi. That's going to be very cool. I want to bring this up, Katia. A couple weeks ago when you were on the podcast, you had the LAFC schedule and you read it out to me, and it hit me like a fist at the time, and now we're here. Because the home game's done. You have at Portland, which we'll preview here in a little bit, Galaxy, and then you have at Philadelphia, at St. Louis. That group of games. This is so huge for LAFC, starting with a trip to Portland, who have been struggling. They're in 12th place, but they need points desperately. And they know it. This might be put up or shut up time for the Timbers. You look at that, it's going to be difficult, especially LAFC haven't been great away from home. That you've got to find points here, or else where you're in third place at 40 points, you could easily get to second. First place is a little further out of view. But you got to be careful not to slip behind because the West is so tightly packed from third all the way to about 10th.
They, of course, watched the video back, trying to minimize those mistakes, paying more attention, being better on defense, especially in transition, because Steve talked about it. You can go down 1-0 and lose 1-0, but you cannot give out that second and third goal the way that we did. Those were Cherundolo's words, so I'm sure everybody has been held accountable. The players were the first ones that weren't happy, that were disappointed with what happened, and this is a new opportunity to change things. Yes, it's going to be difficult because they're going to be away. The surface is always something that we talked about when they have to play in Portland, and then there are players away on international duty, so 5 players are not going to be available. Christian Torres is with Mexico's under-20 national team. Daniel Maldonado is with Honduras. Christian Oliveira is with Uruguay. Denis Buanga is with Gabon. And Stipe Biuk with Croatia under-21 team. So those players will not be available. And when we look at the names, especially the attackers won't be there. Yeah. We were talking about that depth that now the roster has, having everybody healthy, and now it's a new challenge for the coaching staff and for the players that you want to get back on track, and not everybody's going to be there.
Denis Buanga certainly at the top of that list. And, he's going to be. He had the missed chances, not running away from that, but everything Denis did was really he was unmarkable in many ways, winning the ball, turning and running. He's got to work on the finishing. It's a big detail, we know that, but that's something that. He's working on, and you hope they could get over it. If he does, he becomes a really good player. He becomes an elite player. So he's going to be missed. So they're going to have to move around somewhere in that front three. I got to say, for Christian Oliveira getting called up into Uruguay, it'd be better if he was here. But the fact that he got called in, that's great for LAFC. A guy that you come in has not really played much in Uruguay, and Marcelo Bielsa's like, yep, we'll take a look at him. So MLS is talking about clearing these international weeks. There's only 5 games this weekend. LAFC, who have games in hand, have to play one. But they're doing a better job with that. But it's going to make it difficult. But I think LAFC have enough remaining to be able to get that point or to get something, a point or 3 points in Portland. But that, to me, that game is really big because it is a struggling team, and you should be able to punish them.
Portland, as you mentioned, they're trying to clinch to the last hopes of making the playoffs. Savarese is no longer the coach. They had that coaching staff change mid-season, new formation. That's the main thing that Cherundolo was talking about when analyzing the opponent and the videos that they've seen so far. Is that they've had a formation change. If we look at that last game that they had against Seattle, they were down 2 goals at halftime. Then Seattle had an unfortunate red card in the second half. That ended up being beneficial for Portland. They came back, tied the game, got a point in that rivalry. So for them, in terms of confidence, that was important. So something to take into consideration. They have good players as well. And when we talk about that formation, they have now a 4-3-3, and they're trying to just stay alive in that playoffs run. So it's going to be a dangerous team. Like we mentioned, the atmosphere is always fierce in Portland, plus the turf, all of these things that are going to be challenges that LAFC will have to overcome in order to put behind the last 2 results that have been difficult for them.
We heard Jesus Murillo talk about those challenges. It's very difficult. LAFC has had some success there. They have a great playmaker in Evander. They trailed the Sounders by 2 goals over the last weekend, came from behind to get a point, which almost saved their season in many ways, and now bolsters their chances here. But that's good. I hear about 200 LAFC fans are heading up there. Always a good road trip. Nice flight up north, 2.5-hour flight or so.
I've always wanted to do the train ride
to Portland,
all the way to Portland.
Yeah, we have an amazing stretch of
that
country
scenery.
Here. How long would that be to Portland?
I don't know. It's probably like
12 hours,
2
days?
No, I mean if you stop. Like
No stopping.
No stopping.
No stopping us.
Like 18 hours. I don't know.
Just chill on the plane. I mean, on the train.
Yeah, you can stop at Seattle too.
Stuff crosswalk. Gotta do that. Gotta get on our trains a little bit more often. I hear they're making a high-speed train from LA to Las Vegas. No doubt that will be a huge success once they do that.
Definitely.
That'd be good.
Every weekend.
That's
gonna be packed.
For all the people that are driving, they'll get their road cleared because the rest of us will be on the train. Join the scenery, whatever scenery is there between there. Not a whole lot. Not the same as going up to Oregon. That's very good. I'm excited about this stretch run, but it's going to be grueling. And people say about MLS, it's always been a criticism. The regular season doesn't matter. Look around all the games that are playing right now. These games matter. It matters for Portland. It matters for LAFC. Every time the Galaxy play, I'll tell you that's going to matter for them. It's going to matter for Inter Miami, Minnesota, Orlando. It really matters this. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just a prisoner of the moment, but it feels like that argument doesn't carry a lot of weight when I look at the matchup slate. There's not one game where you're like, it matters, and you don't want to be caught with 3 games and not being able to make the playoffs or improve your playoff positioning. So it's an exciting time.
Exciting time.
Bob, let's get going for it, Katia.
Yes.
We're going to be back. We'll be joined by John McCarthy, who will tell us about his Sunday experience against Inter Miami, and we'll get a deeper dive into that shirt exchange with one Lionel Messi. This is Inside LAFC podcast with Max and Katia. We're back here on Inside LAFC podcast, now joined by LAFC goalkeeper John McCarthy. You look like you're pretty excited about something. Can't put my finger on it.
Go Birds. Very clear. Go Birds.
Who you got this Sunday?
NFL kickoff day.
Yeah. That's why I had to wear it today. That's why I had to wear it today. Who I got this Sunday?
Who the Eagles have?
Oh, New England.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, all that money?
Yeah, he deserves it. He had a good season last year. He had a good year. Good for him.
Are they going to make another Super Bowl run?
I hope so, but I hope it goes the other way. Hopefully it's not just a run.
Oh, they win it.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys, I don't want to go down there, but you guys should have won it. Based on what I saw in that Super Bowl, I felt you were robbed. Anyhow, water under the bridge. Are you a part of this fantasy football thing that everyone? Yeah. How many players do you have for that?
12-man league. I don't know how many of us actually know enough to be like
you're gonna win
talking about it. No, I'm not. I'm not someone that like. There's guys that have like watched video and stuff like weeks in advance to know like the roster. I'm serious. For me, I just show up to draft day 10 minutes before, look at some players, put them in the queue, and click them. Nothing crazy.
That's what I did. My draft was yesterday or Tuesday.
You weren't even at the draft. You're like just
auto draft.
No, I entered the draft and I picked my players.
Yeah, it's just easy. Yes. Just show up. Do it.
Good. I like your style. We'll talk about the obviously the Miami game. I think it's safe to say that was an experience not many of you guys have gone through, something this big, epic, Lionel Messi on the other field. I mean, what do you take away from an experience like that where stimulation overload in many ways?
Yeah, I think we prepared for the game knowing that, like, obviously, like, Messi's Messi. There's not been a player, if there's only one other player that people compare his level, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. So when you step on the field with somebody like that, it's a cool moment. But you don't prepare in the game any differently or try to treat the game any differently. You just play it like a game and enjoy it like another day.
When you watch the film back, and I know there were like some key errors and decision making that we talked about, just what was the hardest thing just watching that back? You prepare and you want another outcome, and when it doesn't go your way.
Yeah, I wish I didn't score, and I wish we would have scored more. So it was one of those days where we had a ton of chances. We weren't able to capitalize. We had some mistakes in the back, and it wasn't our day. It wasn't meant to be. So just move on to the next one.
We got to ask you a little bit about. The viral sensation, Selena Gomez watching your save. I saw your dad posting it on there as well. It was pretty.
Thanks, Dad.
I'd be proud of you. You got this huge reaction. What has been your reaction? What have you heard about that?
The Selena Gomez thing? Yeah, I just seen it on like Twitter and Instagram, and that was really it. Just seeing a bunch of like retweets or posts or people tagging me and some stuff. So it was cool in that aspect, but it's not like I didn't meet Selena or anything like that. I didn't talk to Selena, so it's just like another, I guess, viral video that will
Were you guys,
go away.
you guys aware of some of the people that were there? That was like a Super Bowl guest list.
Yeah,
for that game. It was
the
crazy.
list. Yeah, it was a cool list. It was a cool list. I wish I would have met some more people, but I was kind of pissed off after the game, and I didn't want to meet. I didn't want to meet too many people and talk too much. So, but it was a cool list after seeing it. I think someone tweeted it or posted it somewhere, and so it's cool to have celebrities like that at the game. I guess that happens once in a while. When Messi's on the field, that seems like it's happening.
People are going crazy about this.
You talked about it after the game, but you got Messi's jersey. Can you walk us through that moment, just approaching him, putting your Spanish to practice and getting that jersey?
Yeah, so I said hi to the goalkeeper on our team, Drake, and then Oka came up to me, and then the goalkeeper coach on the other team, he came up to me, Sebastian Saha, and then I said hi to one or two guys on the team. So a couple of minutes went by of me seeing guys on the other team and saying guys that I played with, the trainers and stuff. And then, I don't know, I just looked around and I saw Messi doing an interview, and I was like, how's this guy still have his jersey on? No, seriously. Like, there's no chance I was the first one to look at him.
I know. It's good deductive reasoning.
Yeah. So I was
jersey's still on.
His jersey's still on. I don't know when I'm going to see the guy or meet the guy or play against the guy again. So why not just ask him for it? And then obviously I asked him for it, and he was nice enough to give it to me.
Please share how you asked for it.
Yeah.
Actually, Joe, could you grab my phone real quick? I got to show you. We got to show you a little video.
Google Translate?
No.
I
don't know if you've seen this.
It was literally just camiseta por favor, and I asked him. I was like, hey, like.
Yes. Says I'll give you inside because you got Callender's jersey too.
Yeah. Because we agreed. We spoke before that we would trade because we're boys and stuff, and then I just like I didn't have a good enough Spanish to tell him like, hey, like I'll give you one of my jerseys inside. So I don't know how well his English is, so. Or how good his English is. That's how good my English is.
But you just did you deliver the McCarthy jersey over?
I did. I walked over and I spoke with the goalkeeper coach again for a few minutes, and we were able to connect, and I gave him the jersey.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And he signed the jersey.
He did sign the jersey.
So did that happen after, like by the locker rooms?
Yeah. I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure I got him a jersey, and Oliver was like, "Dude, I totally get it," and gave me another jersey because I traded with Drake. So. I want to make sure that, because I can tell when I asked for Messi's jersey, he was kind of like, it felt like he was looking at me like, where's yours, or like, what am I getting back, you know? So I didn't want to like insult him or anything. So I just, normally when you ask for somebody's jersey, you always trade jerseys. You don't just say, hey, can I have your jersey? And you just like take one and walk away. So I wanted to make sure I got him a jersey.
By the way, pretty cool to see Drake Callender's development now with the national team.
Yeah,
obviously, you got to spend some time with them. To see a guy put the work in and get those chances.
You said it spot on.
Yep.
He's put the work in. He's a really good person, and he's a guy that just showed up and put his time in. And when the chances came, he's done really well with it. And I think that he had some up and down moments, but I think he's on a great path, and I think he has a chance to be a really good goalkeeper.
You talked about having a Michael Jordan jersey, and a signed Michael Jordan jersey, and that was like pretty up there, your favorite. Yeah. Now, where are we ranking Messi's jersey, and are you starting a collection?
Don't start this conversation.
Framing all of them?
I want to, at the end of my career or whenever that is, hopefully not for another 20 years, get all the jerseys together somehow. And make
those are two good ones in the first class cabin right there.
Yeah, make like a nice little man cave, and just have them up. You know, have some jerseys up, and I have a Carlos and a Giorgio. I have Kaká. I have some good ones. You know, like Chicharito is another one. I looked up to him at Man United, a big Man United fan. So, like stuff like that. It's cool. They're cool moments that you get to live, and the jerseys are just cherishable moments when you don't play, and you kind of get to look back on some cool moments.
Well, I'm glad you got to experience that. I'm going to editorialize here a little bit because I know it's disappointing with that defeat, but what a great game to compartmentalize and say, hey, we know what this looks like. So, okay, it's singular to be able to play Lionel Messi, and now you have a bit of a pathway for if something like that rises again, or you feel like a similar occasion. You're like, okay, we've seen it, we felt it.
Already got a shirt.
All right, good. All right, John, when you're not playing soccer, you're not training, what are the things that you enjoy doing? What keeps you busy at home?
My son. Yeah, my son. Jay.
1 year old.
1 year old.
Congratulations.
Just had his birthday yesterday. Thank you. He keeps me busy. He's a crazy little man. He's starting to He's been walking for a while, and I think he's getting on the verge of trying to explain what he wants more. And so he keeps me busy, hanging out with my wife, obviously, and then any spare time I have or when my kid decides to take a little nap, maybe some video games, to catch up with some buddies back on the East Coast.
Proud Philly guy, of course. How is it living here in Los Angeles, being in Southern California? What do you like to do here the most?
I like just walking around on the beach. You know, I grew up going to like the Jersey Shore and stuff like that. Not like the Jersey Shore, the TV show. Don't get that wrong.
Philadelphia side.
Yeah, there's different shores. It's not like that Jersey Shore. Got to clear that up because people always say that.
I've been to Jersey Shore a couple times. I had a great time. I just want to let
shore?
people know. Long Beach Island. That's further down on the New York side, right?
Yeah, that's more.
That is more what you're talking about. I had a great time.
Yeah, that's more north. I go more south.
Okay.
So walking into the beaches and stuff like that, hanging out, it just. This stuff doesn't exist in Philadelphia, you know. The sunshine 24/7. We have all seasons. You guys have sun all the time. So it's really nice to just get outside and just walk around on the beaches. I think that's just something cool.
How did you get the soccer hook in Philadelphia? I mean, we know there's a lot of good talent in Jersey, Philadelphia, but how'd you say you're a big sport fans, all the Philadelphia sports? How was soccer and goalkeeping in particular something that drew you in?
For me?
Yeah.
Personally? My dad played soccer growing up. So he's like someone I look up to, and he played in college and stuff. So the goalkeeper side was like, I don't know, one of my buddies always joke about it because this dude Tom Rambo, like for some reason we were like 8 or 7. Our coach was like, "Does anybody else want to play goalie?" And they were like, "Dude, you'd be nothing without Tom Rambo." And I was the next one to step up, and at like our town team on Holy Terrors, I just decided to try it one day and never really looked back.
You, of course, are a big sports guy. You've rocked the Phillies jersey, now all like
Phillies,
the Eagles,
Sixers,
yes, the
the
Eagles
Flyers.
gear. Just what are some memories that you have growing up, maybe going to the stadium, cheering for your home teams, and just being there with your family, with your father?
Yeah. I mean, I went to the Sixers game this offseason. I'm a big Sixers fan. I'm a big Philly fan. I support all the teams. It's fun, you know. Philly's a blue-collar town where you come from hardworking people, and when you see sports teams and stuff like that, you really want to root for them and you pull for them because they represent your city.
That always hit me, too, when I'd watch Philadelphia sports, because you go, oh, Philadelphia Eagles are loud. But then when you see them succeeding, you see this warmth, family members, friends sharing this, what's very special because they love their sport teams. By the way, can you rank them if you're Philadelphia sport? Which would be the favorite, too, or is that impossible?
My favorite teams?
Is it Eagles?
No, mine's Sixers.
Sixers
I'm a
first?
Sixers guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Sixers guy. Then I have to say Eagles because all my boys and stuff, like big Eagles fans, like brother-in-law. They're like diehard fans, you know, so I support them.
Phillies, Flyers? Or flip the bottom two?
I would just say in season. I don't have like a preference in that way. They're just like good sports to watch and enjoy some smack talk. I was gonna say the other way, but I control myself.
We can edit that. Favorite Philadelphia sports memory? There's one that sticks out. Maybe drew a tear on John McCarthy's face.
Favorite sports memory in Philadelphia? I would have to say when, even though the second team, the Eagles, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, because I knew how much it meant to the city of Philadelphia. I knew how much it meant to a lot of family members and friends, like the diehard Eagles fans that think they should play for the Eagles but didn't play ever since high school, and they really just, that's what Eagles fans are. They want the best for the Eagles. They think they know everything, and they just want the best for the Eagles, and that's how we are. And so many people care about the team, and it meant a lot to a lot of people, so it meant a lot to me.
What's your favorite food?
In Philly?
Or
just overall?
Overall.
Like obviously people would say like cheesesteaks in Philadelphia are good, but like I like good pizza. And people are going to rip on me for this, but West Coast pizza is whack.
Oh!
I got to say it.
It is whack. I will agree. We all agree it's whack. Because if you go to the East Coast,
go to East Coast,
see
the pizza's good.
The pizza's
no
comparison. You know what? I think if you went around there, most people would go, you're right.
Yeah, like
in the West Coast.
I haven't found a good pizza spot out here to try pizza and like really be like, you know what? That's like East Coast pizza. That's like New York, Philadelphia pizza. So
well, having a pizza,
different styles too. Because I found like a couple good spots, but it's like pizza napolitana, so it's like different.
Jam.
Yeah, that's
because they had that in New Haven,
region.
Connecticut, where I lived, and they had that Neapolitan style, and I loved it.
Yeah, some people love that style. Like I can eat that style. I like that style, but it just has to be a good pizza, a good slice, and obviously, I think the people know the trick on the East Coast. It comes from the water. You know, it's like. Yeah. You know, it's
the chefs.
Yeah, it's different. It's different water and different dough. It's how it's made. So. Can't
Are you a barbecue guy or no?
I can grill. Yeah, I grill. I'm a hamburger, good cheeseburger. I'm a cheeseburger guy. Nothing crazy.
What is the go-to for John McCarthy for a cheesesteak when he goes back to Philly? He does have one.
I don't really have like the go-to.
But
But
it's not Pat Gino's.
No,
anyway.
it's definitely not Pat. Don't insult me.
I went there. I went to both and I had it. But I'm from LA, so I go, this is great. They're right.
Yeah,
I don't go next level. But I did. I went a little next level.
I need a list next time I'm in Philly to
Don't
pick
go
a good one.
For me, don't go to Pat's or Gino's. I think Pat's or Gino's are very touristy, and they're not made. They're not made for like your average Philadelphian. I would think. I used to like a spot called. It was just like a clean chopped up meat. It was Steak and Hoagie Works in Northeast Philly. It was a good spot. There was another. I think there's one on South Street. I forget the spot on South Street. But that's like they're very similar, man. I think it's just picky people being picky about cheesesteaks. You know, but the two famous ones are not like, oh, you have to hit these spots. You know,
Steak and Hoagie Cheese Works. We got to get there. And if any
We have to get
recommendations
there.
for pizza out west for John would be
yeah,
good.
please hit me up.
Do you have a favorite Premier League team or a team you
Man
follow?
United.
Man United.
Man United.
Was I supposed to know that?
I said
He
it earlier,
said
the
it.
two-
Oh my
He said
God,
it.
I'm sorry, I didn't
That's
miss that
why
one.
he has Chicharito's
Yeah, Chicharito's
jersey.
jersey.
Stop. No judging. No judging.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other clubs you follow? Are you going to tune in the U.S. men's national team?
I like the men's national. Yeah, I support the men's national team always. Always. There's people that support the country and represent the country. You have to support them. You know?
Now it's reinforced big Man United fan, John McCarthy.
Yeah.
So let's spin it. Let's spin it forward. Stretch run here. You guys have some big road games. There'll be a game at St. Louis. There's a game at Philadelphia. You have the Galaxy. It starts with Portland. So it's a difficult stretch. And I mean, there's a lot of things you guys can accomplish. Finish in the West. Finish as high as you can.
Yeah.
In the position. So how do you approach this game? I know it's one game at a time.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
approach this game, but with the big picture of finishing as well as you can in this season.
Yeah, I think we need to go into every game knowing and believing that we can win. I don't think there's a team out there that we should have any fear of. I don't think there's a team that we should play any differently. It doesn't matter if it's home or away. We have to stick to our system, our way, and we have to do it together. There's nobody on this team that's bigger than the team, and there's nobody too small that we can't not rely on or if we need. You know, we're gonna need. I don't know exactly how many guys are on the roster, but we're going to need, normally it's 30 guys when you have a full roster. So if we have 30 guys, we're going to need all 30 day in and day out. So,
What's the most important thing? Getting everybody in sync. Steve was talking about that. Them as coaching staff, their responsibility, of course, but during this last stretch of the regular season, what's that key thing to get everybody in sync? Like you said, pulling from every man on the roster and just like taking it home.
yeah, it starts here on the training field. And the belief is to win at everything you do. That's how I've said it before. That's how I'm raised. That's how I am. It doesn't matter what you do or what drill or what game, you want to win. It doesn't matter if you think you can do something differently. If this is how we're going to do it and this is how we believe it's going to work, we're all in on winning. Winning is the only thing that matters. So I think if we have the mindset that, hey, it doesn't matter if we win a game in the first minute or we win a game in the 90th minute, we got to do whatever it takes to win.
It's going to be an exciting run here, an exciting game. LAFC Portland's always a big occasion. Good luck with your Eagles. We look forward to visiting the Man Cave. We'll go there, maybe do a fantasy football draft, bring it all together.
That's years down the line.
Years down
You know
the
what
line.
I'm saying?
But I'm just putting it on my calendar now.
Yeah.
So we can do it. Thanks a lot, John. Thanks for
guys.
everyone joining us here on Inside LAFC Podcast. Great to have Katya on board as well. We'll be back next week to recap what's happening with the Timbers game. Look forward to a very busy September for LAFC. We will see you next time. Don't forget to rate, review, download, subscribe, and tell a friend.